Good day. My name is Brian Glaze Gibbs, and my story, the Brian Glaze Gibbs story, is my ministry. Check me out. This is my book, Beyond Lucky, the Brian Glaze Gibbs story, a true story of change and redemption. This is my ministry. How did I went down the wrong road? How did I became who I became? And it only because of the grace of God that I'm able to tell my story at this present time. Check me out. Order your signed copy of the Brian Glaze Gibbs story, Beyond Lucky. If I can change, anybody can change. Email me at Brian, BRIAN, GIBBS 1201 at yahoo.com and get your signed copy of the Brian Glaze Gibbs story, a true story of change and redemption. If I can change, anybody can change. Why? Because change comes from within. Today, what I'm going to talk about is the last couple of days. It was a story that came out in regards to the legendary DJ, Jam Master Jay from Run DMC. Two people was arrested and charged with his murder that happened 18 years ago. And even as I was listening to the news, and it was kind of disturbing because one of the guys that they say was behind Jam Master Jay, murder, was Ronald Tennard Washington. And as I sit back and I think about it, and I remember Tennard. Tennard was a year younger than me. And I met Tennard years ago when we was kids on Rikers Island. And as I sit back and I think about it, what was in our water? What was in the food? What was in the air in New York City during that period of time? What happened to us? Like, was it a sign that my mother, my pops, my grandparents, my brother, my sister, my aunties, my uncle, was a sign that they could have seen to prevent me, Tennard, Carl Jordan Jr., to prevent us, they get the necessary help that was needed to get us on the right track. It was something had to be there. It had to be something that was there that could have got them to get us the help that was needed. And to me, it's signs that's out there, but we as adults, as people that love our loved ones, got to be able to recognize the change. And to me, as I sit back and think about it, what could my late mother and Ronald Tennard Washington mother and Carl Jordan Jr. mother, what could they have done to stop us from becoming career criminals, stop us from becoming murderers, stop us from destroying other people's life? It had to be a sign that was there. If we needed help, what the sign was there to help them, to get us the help that was needed? Was we crying out? And sometimes when I sit back and think about it, I think about this word, and it's called tough love. Giving us tough love. From the very first time that I got in trouble, that Tennard got in trouble, that, the young man Carl got into trouble, if our parent would have left us there, left us in Rikers Island, left us in jail, no visit, not accepting our phone calls, not sending us money for commissary, not visiting us, not having anything to do with us, not showing up for court appearance. If they would have done that, guess what? How painful that would have been. How painful, and hurting that would have been to have no support. What they are telling us, that they don't support our bad behavior, that they don't agree to the lifestyle that we have chosen. And to me, I think if they would have stuck to their guns and given us the tough love from the very beginning, that would have stopped us in our track. Why? Because it would have been so painful, because we are there all alone, miserable, with no support, no person, nobody to call, nobody to come see us, nobody to send us commissary money. That, to me, how I feel, if that would have been done from the very beginning, guess what would have happened? We would have changed. Because what would have happened? We would have felt so bad, so miserable, because we do not have the love and support of our loved one. We do not have the love and support of our mother, our father, our grandparent, our brothers, our sisters, our wife, our kids. So with that being alone, guess what would have happened? That would have caused change. That would have caused suffering. That would have caused pain. That would have caused us to understand that, guess what? That was not the lifestyle to live. So to me, what happened, I can remember being a kid, and my mother used to always tell me, if you get into trouble, don't call me. Because if you call me, I'm not going to be there. For the very first time that I got into trouble, I, Brian Glaze Gibbs, committed a crime. And I got into trouble. And I went to Rikers Island. And I got beat up and robbed by the older brother that was on Rikers Island. They took my sneakers. They took my coat. Guess what? Here it is when I call my mother and like crying like a little girl on the phone. Guess what happened? My mother bailed me out. My mother got me the best lawyer that she could have possibly afford. My mother helped me to get around that situation. And guess what? She not did it once, twice. She did it several times. And did I learn? No. The first time I got out of Rikers Island after getting beat up and robbed and taken advantage of, when I got home after a week of being on Rikers Island, I thought I was tough. I thought I was down. I thought I was cool. I felt that I survived Rikers Island. Not like living up into the true expectation that, guess what? When you was in there, I was crying like a little girl. When that jail cell slammed, boom. And I was under that itchy cover. I was crying. I didn't let the fellow inmates hear me crying because they would have ridiculed me. They would have took advantage of me. So what I did was I cried like a little baby for like 7 days until I got out. And then when I got out, I went out there with a bop in my step. Like I was cool, like I was tough, like I survived Rikers Island. So when I sit back and I think about it and I read and I hear about Tenard Washington, Ronald Tenard Washington was involved in Jam Master Jay murder, that hurting. That more or less like hit me in the gut because once again, the Tenard that I know was a young, good kid. So I'm asking myself, what happened? What went wrong with our life? What was the sign? Did we need psychological help back then that we didn't get? Help me, I don't know. I'm seeking answer. It got to be signs. Look at the signs that when your kids come in the house, are they acting irrational? Are they acting different? Are they acting moody? Sit back and think about it. What's going on? What we as parents can do to save our kids, to save our kids from going down that road of destruction, to save our kids from that multi-billion-dollar prison system. It's up to us. We can do it. But what we have to do is stop being so involved with work. Stop being so involved with social functioning and focus more on our children. Focus more on our grandchildren. Watch the change. Watch their pattern. The pattern. Are they being bullied? Are they being taken advantage of? Are they feel that somebody pressuring them to be other than themselves? Here it is right now. It's not too late. I am Brian Glaze Gibbs. I went through hell and back. And it's only because of the grace of God that I'm here today to share my ministry, my experience, all the trial and tribulation that I've been through. If I can change, anybody can change. Because why? Change comes from within. This is me right here. I am Brian Glaze Gibbs. This is me right here. Check my story out on YouTube, the Infominer channel. Check out my channel, the Brian Glaze Gibbs channel on YouTube. And as I look back and I sit back, this is Ronald Tenard Washington. Take a close look. I remember him, man. He was a good kid. What went wrong? What was the sign? What could have stopped him from more or less becoming involved in the iconic DJ, Jam Master Jay death? What was the difference? Look at this gentleman right here. Here comes another guy, a young guy. He was only 18 years old when they say that he pulled the trigger that killed the late Jam Master Jay. Days, weeks before that, he slept on Jam Master Jay's couch. So what the hell happened? What went wrong? You mean to tell me a chemical substance, cocaine, drugs, money, changed this man? That killed somebody that gave him the opportunity to sleep on his couch or post on the street? This man had the nerve to kill Jam Master Jay? Something's wrong with that picture. Something's not adding up. It had to be some type of form of mental illness that we didn't detect. It got to be. Come on now. It's not adding up. Okay, look at this picture. This is Jam Master Jay, the legendary DJ, for Run DMC. I'm talking about Hall of Famer. What happened? What went wrong? Something, people. Let's think about it. Something went wrong. This is the group, Run DMC with Jam Master Jay. What went wrong, people? Here it is. It got to be signs. It got to be signs that's out there for each and every one of us. We have to recognize those signs. And to me, like I keep trying to say right now, when these kids get into trouble, stop them in their track. Despite you love them, despite that you care about them, despite they're your flesh and blood, leave them there. If they are foolish enough to get caught up into that criminal system the first time, let them learn. Don't rush and bail them out. Don't rush to get them out there. Let them stay in jail. Let them feel the pain. Let them feel the fire. Let them understand that crime doesn't pay. To me, it took the death of my mother. That was so painful that got me to understand that crime doesn't pay. That's what helped me. It took me from 14 to 24 years. I became Brian Glaze Gibbs. I became a problem to my community. Now, I seek to be a solution to the problem. I want to get anybody that's willing to listen to my story, to get them to stop picking up that brick, throwing at the prison wall for absolutely nothing. I want them to understand that crime doesn't pay. Later for that. That's why I say, I think in the very beginning, if my mother, if Tanard Washington mother, if Carl mother would have recognized the symptom, like the pain, the suffering that we was going through, probably they could have got us the necessary help. And guess what? Jam Master Jay and so many other lives would have been saved. Listen, take it from somebody that know I am Brian Glaze Gibbs and crime doesn't pay. If I can change, anybody can change. Why? Because change comes from within. Follow me. Look me up. Follow me on YouTube, Brian Glaze Gibbs. Follow me on my Instagram channel, Brian Glaze Gibbs. If I can change, anybody can change. And once again, for a signed copy of a true story of my life, my ministry, the Brian Glaze story, email me, Brian, BRIAN, Gibbs, GIBBS 1201 at yahoo.com. My story is a true story of change and redemption. If I can change, anybody can change. Young man, young woman, young boy, young girl, stop wasting your life. Do it right the first time. It's easy to get into trouble, but it's hard to get out. Remember that. Sit back and think about it. It is easy to get into trouble and hard to get out. Who want that? Guess what? If you think about it, lock yourself in the bathroom for 1 hour. Close that door, boom, and sit in that bathroom for 1 hour. Look at that bathtub. That's going to be your bed. Look at that sink and toilet. That's going to be your space for the next 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, or the rest of your life. Is it worth it? No. Trust me, who the hell want to be in a cell for 23 to 24 hours a day? Take it from somebody that know crime doesn't pay. If I can change, anybody can change. One love, Brian Glaze Gibbs.